From the art side, honestly, it all comes from a place of trying to make people happy. So there's two sides to my work. There's the art side, which is me, Doddz, the artist, and then a company that we set up 5 years ago called Dime, which takes the storytelling and the technology that we build and applies that in the commercial brand world. So in the brand world, the data is really interesting because for the art, the experience is the ROI. Like you have a magical experience, and it doesn't have to be anything more than that. In the brand world, you can imagine it's how do we justify the cause? What are we collecting data-wise? What's the ROI? And in that case, you have all these, say, like an augmented reality experience, or we create a lot of digital worlds that you can explore on your phone and your computer. There's lots of touch points within those experiences that you're just naturally getting because people are spending 20 minutes in one of these digital worlds. You're just collecting more compared to watching a video or liking something on Instagram. And I think that we're in this bit of a shift or a trend. I guess it is a shift from brands specifically wanting to own more of that data because you're limited to what you get, Instagram, TikTok, and those sort of things. So having said all of that in terms of data collection, for Dime, the storytelling is still fundamental. That's why they come to us, because they see what I'm doing as an artist and they want to do that. But it's an added bonus that you can find out more, product preferences, stuff like that about your audience, but in a way that they don't feel like they've been cheated out of giving over an email or giving away product preference information, because they're actually enjoying this experience as well. And in terms of the quality of that data, you can imagine if you did happen to get somebody to answer a questionnaire for your brand, which I think is quite unlikely anyway, they're not necessarily going to give you the answers that they're just going to give you the answers that they think you want to hear, whereas through play they're just reacting as they would without thinking, and therefore giving you a much more honest opinion. So the richness of that data is quite useful as well. You can imagine in that sort of Dime brand world, a lot of that is very interesting for brands. It's a good question. I think having one foot in both allows me to come up with new ideas. Let's say coming from the art world and then bringing what I'm seeing over here working and bringing it to the brand world. It kind of means that the ideas that we're coming up with are not the typical creative studio who are solely in the marketing world ideas, where art often shapes culture and I like to think a couple of years ahead of what the marketing world is doing. So we were able to see how the public are interacting with my art and then take over those trends and come up with really creative ideas for brands. And I think that's added a lot of value to Dime. We're not sipping from the same Kool-Aid as perhaps everybody else, but also from the Dime side, then coming into the art thing, being a creative person is one thing, but as a artist, branding and the business side of things, relationships, all of that sort of stuff. I know that's not the creative process, but it is the wider artist process. So there are a lot of lessons from both sides that I think allow us to bring new ideas to each side. I mean, the truth is I don't know, because I don't know any other way, right? But I do think being dyslexic, like even at school, that traditional way of learning doesn't work for me. So just naturally, through survival, having to think outside the box in order to even learn at school or kind of like keep up with everybody else has just instilled a creative problem-solving personality for me. But I do think that I started looking into this about 18 months ago about just actually how the brain works, and it was really interesting to see from a somebody who's dyslexic some of the way that brain would work compared to quote unquote a neurotypical brain. You start being able to like connect the dots moving backwards. So like pattern recognition or advanced pattern recognition is something that dyslexics do really well. And I think for me as an artist, it's clear to see like augmented reality and art or fashion or whatever it might be was not on everybody's bingo card for like 2019, but being able to see that like I'm making art over here, the world is moving with technology here, and putting those patterns together has allowed me to go down an avenue that I don't believe I would have done if I'd not been dyslexic, truthfully. So it's I see it as like a competitive edge, honestly. I think it's a understanding why you're using that technology in this case study. Not to sound like a broken record, but emotion is the first thing. It shouldn't really be about what tech is being used. To have high impact, it has to emotionally strike a chord. I think in a world of LinkedIn, there's a lot of creative directors who will do brand work, do something innovative just for the sake of posting using AI, or it was AR and it was NFTs and it was the metaverse before that, just for the sake of posting it on LinkedIn, which isn't really serving anybody. But the brands that we're working with understand that audiences, especially young audiences, are already using these technologies, and really you're just showing up using the language and the tools that they're already using. So I think systems that work are having that core understanding that what you're doing is for service of the audience, and therefore it will have legs because you'll get the engagement, whereas there is a tendency to do innovative thing but don't really understand why we're doing it, cut corners, doesn't work, don't do it again because it didn't work. And I think that there's a lot of mistakes that that a lot of brands make. I think from the brand side, great brands are great storytellers. The marketing shouldn't feel like selling the features of whatever it is that your product is. It should inspire, it should be heartfelt, it should be a really cool experience that somebody loves, and it just so happens to be put on by your brand, and obviously make sense as to why you would be involved in doing that. So from the brand side, storytelling, emotion first, everything else, like how can we deliver that in a new and interesting way, comes second. From the art side, honestly, it all comes from a place of trying to make people happy. I think the world asks a lot of us. I think it can feel heavy sometimes. So the artwork is purely designed to create moments of joy, connection, shared experience with somebody, whether that be the artwork itself or the exhibition that the artwork is placed in. And I think in terms of the public speaking that I do as well, I would hope, if I've talked about that artwork and talked about why I'm doing what I'm doing or the journey that I've been on, that I would hope that just like the artwork, you would feel lighter at the end of it, compared to how you started.